So now let's just go on. So we're going to close all that up, and then we're going to go into the open inventory function, and then first of all, as soon as we open the inventory, we're going to check for empty slots, and we're going to rearrange everything. So once we've done that, we're going to set the integer I to equal to 0. So we're going to make an integer I equal to 0, which we had before, and then we're going to call the for loop for every slots in Y, then every slots in X. We did this before. Then we're going to create a new rect, call it slot rect just like we did above, and we're going to call this one to new rect, and this is actually exactly the same as the one originally, so I'm not going to go through that. So then we're going to call GUI.box, so just like before, slot rect. So for every slot we're going to create a box in the inventory, and then we're going to set the text inside to whatever number. We did that again before. And then again, we're slots I equals inventory I, so we're just going to set whatever slots is equal to inventory, and then we're going to say if slots I.item name is not equal to blank, we're going to go if there's an actual name, if there's an actual item in the slot, we're going to create a button for it, and a GUI.button over the same place where that item is, and then we're going to set the number to exactly the same as before, but we put a slash in this one. So inventory I.item name plus speech brackets things, quotation marks, then space bracket space quotation marks again, then plus space plus, and an inventory I dot total number, so it's going to show the total number as well that we have. So then we're going to go if inventory I, so if the item, for every item, if the item type is equal to weapon item type, so this is actually checking if we click on the button, if the item in that slot is of type weapon. So if we click on an M9, then it's going to do this. So then it's going to go if for that slot, if the total number is greater than 1, so if there's more than 1, then we're going to subtract 1 from the total number in the inventory. So say if we have 3 M9s in our inventory in a stack, if we click on that inventory button, it's going to subtract 1 from the total, so you have 2 left over up here, and it's going to send 1 down here. So then it's going to call inventory I.total number is subtract minus equal to 1, so it's going to just take 1 off the top, and then it's going to go equipped 0, so 0 is the first slot which I've set to weapon, so I've made that weapon all the time. So 0 is the weapon slot, so for the weapon slot we're going to make that equal to the button we just pressed, and then we're going to set the equipped.total number, so the weapon slot of 1 is equal to 1, because when we send it down here, the total number is at 2, because we've just subtracted 1, so it was 3, we subtract 1, we send it down with 2, but then we're going to have to quickly set this to 1 again, because that's going to create some errors if we don't. It's going to give us 4 total, it's going to give us more M9s, but we don't want that. So then we're going to go and say if the slot dot total number is equal to 1, we're going to set the weapon slot to equal the M9. So say if we've got 1 M9, we're going to set the slot to an M9, and then we're going to remove the item in the inventory. Then we're going to call the equipped item thing function, which I made with this new script down the bottom, and I'll go through that when we get to it. So then we're going to call if for that slot, so we're back up here, we were weapon, so if it's not the weapon, we're going to say if it's a bullet, then we're going to say if it's a bullet, we're going to go equipped1 equals to, so equipped one was the ammo slot I made it always the ammo slot for whatever weapon we had. So say if we had a chainsaw in there, we'd need fuel in the weapon in the ammo slot. If we had a any type of gun, we'd need the special ammo for it. So then we're going to set the inventory. Then we're going to set whatever ammo. So say if we've got 24 bullets, we're going to set all the 24 bullets down to here, and we're going to set the inventory to back to equal to clear the inventory. And we're going to again equip the call the equipped item function. We're going to send it what slot we've done. So slot 0 for weapon, and slot 1 for ammo. Then we're going to go, if it isn't an ammo, if it isn't a bullet or any type of ammo, I should probably change that to ammo, but I think I'll just leave that for now. If for that slot, if the item type is equal to nothing, and this is, I only used nothing because I didn't have one for like a pickup thing, like I put in a 3D model of a chair to just test if we could, when I picked up a chair, then I can use the inventory, press a button, and then place the chair. So I just use nothing for now, but I might eventually change it to placing object or something like that. So then we're going to say, if it is of type nothing, then we're going to say if the item ID is equal to 3, and this is just what I made an item here, 3 of chair, and this probably isn't the best way to do it. It's probably actually one of the worst ways you could do it, but for now I just ran through and did it all by myself, just quickly testing things. So for now I'll probably change it in the future. We're just, if it's equal to 3, so if it is a object, if it is the chair, then we're going to go then we're going to say if it's greater than 1, if the inventory space is greater than 1, then we're going to, so if we've got more than one, say if we've got 10 chairs in our inventory, then we're going to take one away from the inventory, and then we're going to add it to the equipped slot. I don't think I even want to do this. I think I just want to make it so that when you click it, all comes down here. So if we have 24, all 24 comes down here. So that's not actually what I want. So then we're going to say if equipped of type 6, if equipped in 6 is the first pickup slot, place slot, sorry, we're going to call that, we're going to set it into the inventory, and then we'll get, just like we did back up here, we're going to set it in this one, we're going to set it to inventory and then set the turn number to 1, so we're just taking 1 down, which is, I don't think I will change in the future because that's not what I want. If the inventory is equal to 1, then we're just going to change this one to 1, then we're just going to set it to chair and then change that to clear. We're just going to clear the inventory space. Then we're going to call equipped item of 0, and that's actually not right, that's 6. I'm not sure why that was there. Well, sorry about that again. Too far. Yeah. And then we're going to add I++ down here again to create our own sort of for loop thing. And then we're going to create, this is the function add item. As before, there's just some things that I changed. So first of all, set ticket false. Then we're gonna, here's for the equipped. Oh, jeez, I need to change everything that it was equipped. Equipped. Sorry about that. Equipped. Alright. Equip. Down here, equipped. Okay, so first off, it's really annoying me. If we're going to set the ticker to false, and we're going to go for every item in the inventory in the equipped section. So for all 8 or however many we have equipped, then we're going to say if the ones that we've got, if the item ID, so for every item in equipped, if the item ID is equal to the ID that we put it in, then we're going to add a total number. Then equipped of item ID, then we're going to add 1 to the total number. So instead of creating a new item every single time, so we have like 50 different M9 entities in our inventory, we're going to say there's going to be an M9 one single entity with a total number of 50. So if that makes sense, and then we're going to set ticker to true, then we're going to break out of this. So this is just ticker again to see, you know, if it was there, then we added it, then we need to check if it wasn't. If it wasn't there, then we need to go if ticker is equal to if ticker equals false, then we need to call for the number of inventories, the number in the inventory. Then we're going to shuffle through and see if it's equal to blank. If it is equal to blank, then for every item in the database, I think most of this is the same, then we're going to go if the item in the database is equal to the one that the ID that we want, then we're going to go inventory contains ID. If inventory contains ID, so we're using this thing, the one that we created before, this function. So if there's already one in our inventory, if there's, say if we've got an M9 in our inventory and we add another one, if there is an M9 in the inventory, no, sorry, if it equals false. If there isn't, then we're going to set the slot that we found that's blank, and we're going to equal it to the ID that we added it. So say if we say add an M9, it comes up, hey, we don't have an M9, we're going to add one into the inventory. Then it's going to go and check if inventory contains ID. So if we say add an M9 and it equals true, say we've already got one in our inventory, hey, we've got one in our inventory, then it's going to say inventory, the total number, we're going to add 1. So instead of having 2 entities, it's going to just make the total number equal to 2. Then we're going to set the ticker is equal to true. That is for after this one, yeah, ticker equal to true, and then we're going to break out of this for loop. Then we're going on to our inventory contains function, and we're going to say if there's a bool result equals false for every item in inventory, the result is equal to and this is like an if statement sort of thing, but it's different. It's saying, okay, the result is equal to the result of, so the result of, so this is when you're comparing things. This is like if this if it is equal to this, it's going to return a boolean, like a true or a false answer. So result equals to if the ID of the item is equal to ID. So if we give it ID 2, if the ID of the item is equal to 2, it's going to say true, result is equal to true. If result is equal to true, then we're going to break it, else it's just going to keep looping through, and then it's just going to return the result. That is all the same, I think. Then for this one, we're going, one thing I do need to add to this, which I haven't already, is add a check for the equipped section. So if it doesn't find it in the inventory, then it's going to have to find it in the equipped section. If it's not in the equipped section, then it's going to return false, which we'll do in the future. Then we're going to go into the remove item function, and we're going to go if inventory contains ID equals true. So if we already have that item, then we're going to say item removed. This is just debugs that I added for myself so I can check to see if all the code was working. Then we're going to run through the inventory, and we're going to say if the slot is equal to the ID, then we're going to say removed again. So if item removed comes up twice, we know we've found the item. And then we're going to say if inventory dot total number is greater than 1, then we're going to subtract 1. Else if it's equal to 1, then we're going to make it blank. then we're going to